Greetings everyone, and welcome back to Codesultant channel. In our previous discussion, we focused on NEC Article 422, which establishes the general requirements for appliances. Today, we move forward to one of the most applied tools in electrical design and load calculation. Table 220.55 of the National Electrical Code. This table is specifically about demand factors for cooking equipment, household electric ranges, wall-mounted ovens, counter-mounted cooking units, and similar appliances. By applying demand factors, it provides a standardized method for determining their load, allowing us to design electrical systems that are both safe and economical. This prevents oversized conductors and equipment while ensuring compliance with NEC standards. And in this session, we won't just glance at the table. We will analyze every detail of Table 220.55 so that we fully understand how it applies in practice. From the columns to the notes, and even special cases like induction cooktops or high-powered microwaves, we'll break it down step by step. So, without further ado, let's start cooking this topic. Table 220.55, Demand Factors and Loads for Household Electric Ranges, Wall-Mounted Ovens, Counter-Mounted Cooking Units, and Other Household Cooking Appliances over 1 3/4 kilowatts rating. Column C to be used in all cases except as otherwise permitted in Note 3. Let's define more clearly the common terms and practical appliances we encounter in kitchens and in this table. Range. A unit that combines a cooktop and an oven in one appliance. This is the classic freestanding stove most people picture. Oven. A standalone appliance, single or double, used for baking, roasting, or broiling. Cooktop. Just the burners, without an oven attached. This includes modern induction cooktops, which use electromagnetic fields to heat cookware directly. From an NEC perspective, induction cooktops are treated the same way as any other cooktop. If their rating is greater than 1 3/4 kilowatts, they fall under Table 220.55. Microwave ovens. Common in kitchens, but most are rated below 1 3/4 kilowatts and therefore fall under the general appliance rules in Article 422. However, if you encounter a high-powered microwave, say in a commercial kitchen or instructional program, with a rating equal to, or greater than 1 3/4 kilowatts, then it qualifies as a household cooking appliance under Table 220.55. In that case, it must be included in the demand load calculation, right alongside ranges, ovens, and cooktops. But let's not stop there. Other electric cooking equipment can also come into play. Combination units. A counter-mounted cooktop paired with 1 or 2 wall ovens on the same branch circuit. NEC Note 6 tells us to treat this combination as equivalent to one range. Specialty ovens, steam ovens, pizza ovens, or warming drawers. If their rating is greater than or equal to 1 3/4 kilowatts, they are included under Table 220.55 as ovens. Smaller warming drawers often fall below the threshold, so they remain under Article 422. Portable countertop appliances, toaster ovens, air fryers, rice cookers, and slow cookers. Most are below 1 3/4 kilowatts, so they're not included in Table 220.55. Instructional program appliances. NEC Note 7 explicitly includes household cooking appliances used in culinary schools or training kitchens. That means even high-powered microwaves or specialty ovens in those settings are covered. The structure of Table 220.55 is organized into 4 columns that guide us in applying demand factors for household cooking equipment. These demand factors reflect the principle of diversified appliance use. In real life, no one turns on every burner and the oven on maximum heat all at once, so the NEC lets us use smaller, more realistic numbers. Think of it like cooking at home. You don't boil water on all burners and bake at the highest temperature at the same time. Because of that, the electrical system doesn't need to be sized for that impossible situation. The NEC understands this natural diversity, which is why Table 220.55 allows reduced demand values instead of using the full nameplate ratings. With that principle in mind, let's look at how the table is actually structured. The first column simply lists the number of cooking appliances being considered. From there, the table divides appliances into 3 categories. Column A applies to smaller units rated at less than 3.5 kilowatts. Column B covers mid-range appliances from 3.5 kilowatts to 8 3/4 kilowatts. And Column C, the most commonly used, applies to standard ranges not exceeding 12 kilowatts. Unless otherwise permitted by the notes, Column C serves as the default reference for most calculations. It's important to note that columns A and B apply percentage-based demand factors to the appliance wattage, while column C provides fixed demand values directly in kilowatts. As you move down the table, an important principle becomes clear. The more appliances you have, the lower the demand per unit. For instance, while a single range is listed at 8 kilowatts, 3 ranges together only require 14 kilowatts total. By the time you reach 25 appliances, the maximum demand is just 40 kilowatts. This illustrates the NEC's recognition of diversity, designing for the reality that not all appliances operate at full load simultaneously, rather than planning for a worst-case scenario. The notes. NEC's special seasoning below the table are 7 notes, each one a special adjustment for unique scenarios. Note 1 adjusts the demand when all ranges are rated over 12 kilowatts. Note 2 handles ranges with unequal ratings, using an average value. Note 3 allows you to use columns A and B for appliances between 1 3/4 kilowatts and 8 3/4 kilowatts, instead of column C. Notes 4 to 6 guide you through branch circuit loads for single appliances, combinations, and shared circuits. Note 7 reminds us that this table also applies to cooking appliances used in instructional programs, like culinary schools. Before we close, here's your roadmap. In the following presentation, we'll explain these notes in detail with sample calculations and real-world examples, so the logic becomes easy to understand and apply. And that wraps up our first cooking session with table 220.55. Today, we prepped our ingredients, the appliances, the columns, the notes, and the NEC's recipe for diversity. As we move forward in this series, we'll start turning up the heat and answering the big questions that every designer eventually asks. When do we actually use demand factors, and when do we not use them? How do we apply the notes to real-world appliances with different ratings? How do we size the branch circuit conductors correctly? And what overcurrent protection device should we use for each type of cooking equipment? All of these will be tackled in the following cooking sessions, as we carefully season each note with practical examples. Stay tuned. Part 2 is coming soon, where we'll turn up the heat and really start cooking with power. Thank you all for watching.